So hey besties, do any of us remember when we was younger and we used to be like, Mom, we're hungry, can we go to McDonald's? And your mom would be like, we got McDonald's at home. Well, the older I got, the more I understand that. So let's go ahead and make this copycat McDonald's fish fillet sandwich at home. So first we're going to go ahead and start off with our dry batter. And our dry batter is just going to be some flour. I'm going to use 1 cup of flour and I'm going to use some Old Bay. And I don't know if it's just me, but it seemed like Old Bay is the hardest to get out that little shaker. I even tried twisting the top like some of the people I see on the internet do, and they say that helps really well. But baby, it was hard for me to get that out. So we're going to go ahead and just put some flour with some Old Bay, and we're going to go ahead and give that a mix. Now your flour should change colors. You should see your seasoning in it. If you don't, that means you haven't added enough. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on our wet batter. And for our wet batter, we're going to add 1 cup of flour. You're going to go ahead and season it as you would normally season it. So we're going to go in with some paprika. After we get the paprika in there, you're going to go ahead and add some Old Bay, because you can't have seafood without Old Bay. In addition to the Old Bay, you're going to add in some of that Tony's Creole seasoning, and just a little bit, not too much, because Tony's going to make you sneeze. They do it to me every time. Of course, I have to add in some of that onion powder, and if you're adding in onion powder, you must go ahead and add in some garlic powder as well. I tell you, onion powder and garlic powder go hand in hand. You can actually get them two together in a jar as well if you like. After I got my seasonings in there, I'm going to go ahead and crack an egg, just 1 egg in there, and then you are going to go ahead and mix it up. And it's going to be a little crumbly at first, but you're going to go ahead and trust the process. Now, while we are working on our 2 batters, we're going to also go ahead and get our frying oil on, and you're going to go ahead and start bringing that up to temperature. Once the oil gets up to temperature, then we can go ahead and fry our fish. But while we are mixing our batters, we're going to go ahead and bring our oil up to temperature. And I almost forgot to add in a teaspoon of baking soda, and that's going to help with making your fish nice and crispy. Now, once I got my egg mix in there, I'm going to go ahead and add in some club soda. Now, here is where I think that I went wrong at. When I used my club soda, I used cold club soda. I didn't use room temperature club soda. But if you are going to use a club soda, I would recommend, or any liquid that you're going to use, I would recommend using room temperature. Now, everything still did come out good. I just wish I would have had used a room temperature club soda. Now, you can also replace a club soda with water, regular water. You can also replace it with beer. I've even seen some people use vodka. It is your preference, your choice of whatever you want to use. Now, we're going to continue to add water until we get the consistency that we're looking for. And the consistency that we're looking for is like a pancake batter. You want it to kind of come out looking like you're making pancakes, and it should look nice and seasoned. So if it hasn't changed colors, or if it doesn't look seasoned, this is your chance to go ahead and add more seasoning. Now we're going to go ahead and continue to mix this up, mix it up real well. And as you can see, our batter is completely mixed, and I'm just going to go ahead and check for the consistency, and it has the consistency that I'm looking for. Now it's time for us to go ahead and prepare the fish. Now, to prepare the fish, the only thing we're going to do is go ahead and clean it. After you clean your fish, you can go ahead and wipe it down, dry it with a paper towel, and then you're going to add a little bit of salt, and then you're going to add a little bit of pepper. Now, I did have to use my tongs to flip my fish over, because we want to make sure that we salt and pepper both sides, because the salt and pepper I'm using is a grinder, and I didn't want to touch the fish and touch my seasonings, because then you have cross-contamination. So we're going to go ahead and just use our tongs and flip them over. And then after we get our fish salt and peppered on both sides, we're going to go ahead and start to cook our fish. Now I'm going to take my fish, I'm going to dip it in my dry batter first, and we are using cod. If I did not mention that before, I feel like codfish makes the perfect fish sandwich above any other fish. So I'm going to go ahead and dip it in my dry batter first. After I dip it in my dry batter, we're going to go ahead and dip it in our wet batter. And you want to make sure you completely cover your fish, because this is where all the seasoning is at well. And you want to make sure your fish is nice and flavorful. After you get your cod completely covered in that wet batter, we're going to go ahead and drop it in our oil, and we're going to cook it for about 4 minutes on each side. Once it's done, it should look something like this, nice golden brown and crispy. And then it's time to go ahead and assemble those sandwiches. Now I'm going to use a brioche bread. You can go ahead and toast your bread if you want to. I'm not going to toast mine. I'm just going to have it as is. I'm going to put my bread down. Then we're going to go ahead and add some tartar sauce. Now you can make your own homemade tartar sauce. It's just mayonnaise, pickles, a little bit of dill, parsley, salt, and pepper, and you're going to mix it up real good with some lemon juice. But I just decided to use the tartar sauce that we already have. After I got my tartar sauce in there, I'm going to go ahead and add my fish on top, and I'm going to put some more tartar sauce on top. Now you can add some cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, pickles, whatever kind of toppings you like, and then your fish sandwich is ready. I went on ahead, and it is time to taste it. And when I tell you, this fish sandwich was so good, the fish was still moist, flaky. You could just see the fish glistening right there. Go ahead and make your fish sandwich. Bye, besties.